get our own personal old lace up here.
Yeah, except we can't tell her what to do.
She's a little bit closer to Molly, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
Tiny and spunky and full of
energy until she basically uses up her energy, then she passes out.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Also extremely cute and the one everybody loves.
Yes. Although I don't know how people feel about her in this show. We'll get into that in a second.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, bet you thought this wasn't happening. This is the post-Geekout reaction for Marvel's Runaways, and my hat is creating a very weird shadow on my face. So this is the post-Geekout reaction for Marvel's Runaways, coming out a month late. I apologize that this is coming out so late, but January was a theme month on this channel, which I was putting out something almost every single day, so I didn't really have time to talk about anything new happening. I didn't think the show was going to end that soon.
Yeah.
I thought we had like a full, like, at least 13 episodes ago. It was like, nope, 10 episodes, done. Also, part 10 comes out at the exact same time as part 9. I had so many people asking me when part 9 came out, so when are you doing the P-Bar? Like, when it's done. And I was being kind of like a dick about it, and I can only imagine they were looking at me, it was like, yeah, I know, when are you doing this? Because we watched part 9 on Hulu, and then as soon as part 9 was over with, we were like, well, that was another episode of Runaways. Walk away, come back next week, and it's like, how come it's not saying that a new episode is up here? Oh.
Yeah, it was a two-parter.
So yeah, we kind of screwed the pooch on that one, but like I said, we weren't been able to get to it until now anyways, so yeah, sorry that this is so late, but I should also go ahead and say, yes, we are reviewing a Marvel television series far after it came out. I'm still not doing Punisher. I'm sorry. People keep asking me for it. I'm clearing it up right here and now. It ain't happening, ever. I have watched all the other Marvel Netflix shows. I even went all the way through Iron Fist. Punisher is not nearly as bad as Iron Fist. Iron Fist is still bottom of the barrel. I would still even say Punisher is maybe a little bit better than Defenders even. But it's the most boring of all of them. And I can't freaking take it anymore. I got to episode 11 out of 13 on that, and I've been binging it all day, and I was done. And on episode 11, I was like, thank God, it's finally over, because I thought I was on episode 13 because I had lost count. And when eventually it got to that point, which I was like, we have like 10 minutes left in this episode. How are you going to wrap everything up? And then I paused it, and I saw episode 11 at the top. I went, done. I'm out. I have been holding on to that thought that this is the last episode. I can make it through this. 2 more hours? Fuck this. No. So yeah, I'm done. I'm not doing Punisher. Sorry, folks. It ain't happening. But this is about Runaways.
Yes.
And this is the post-Geekout reaction, in which it is not a review. It's just an open, honest discussion between the two of us about the thing that we just watched, and that does include full spoilers. And we already talked about episodes 1 through 3 because they released all of those back to back to back, which I think was a very good idea, especially for the fact that episode 2 was basically episode 1 all over again, just from the parents' point of view. And we were really, really positive on this show at that point. We have not talked about this since we finished watching it.
No.
I think this show kind of started to take a nosedive after those first 3 episodes.
I still thought it was good, though.
Yes! I still thought it was good.
And I really hope that they pick up on a second season.
It has. It's been confirmed.
Okay,
they
good.
got a second season.
Yes.
But I think all the really good stuff was the stuff we got in the first 3 episodes, which was the mystery and the drama. Like the teenagers trying to figure out what's going on with their parents, the parents trying to figure out what's going on with their teenagers, some big mystery, who knows what's happening. Oh, it's all these relationships forming, these love triangles and squares and everything just going back and forth. And oh my goodness, what are the parents doing with each other? Then as soon as they introduced the superpowers, I was like, oh, you don't know how to direct superpowers. This is lame. That was my problem. I think all the superpower stuff in here, I gotta be honest, I thought it sucked. I love all the drama. I love all the interactions. But the moment they would stop and go, yeah, this is about superheroes, I was like, stop, no. Go back to like, will Alex and Nico hook up? Or is Nico going to have a thing for Carolina? That's the stuff that's interesting. Gert and Chase, will they hook up? That's interesting.
You should watch Teen Nick with all this high school drama if you're into that shit.
No, because that's bad. This is good. Runaways did it well. But I didn't even care. I only cared like half for the kids. The Pride took up the other half, and that was freaking amazing, all the stuff that was going on with that. But then as soon as you introduced the sci-fi elements in here, I thought this became dumb as fuck.
But it's the Runaways. You kind of have to...
I'm not saying I have a problem with the sci-fi element being in there, because it's the Runaways. I have a problem with what they did with it. Because I think the people behind this were like, we got hired to do teen drama, to do soap operas. That's what we got hired for. We didn't know we had to actually do superhero stuff. We don't know how to do that. Because like in the episode where like the guy from Alex's dad's past ends up coming back and ends up kidnapping Alex, and Alex is learning all this stuff about his parents. I was like, man, this is good. Oh man, I can't wait to see where this goes. And then it's supposed to be the big triumphant moment of all of them coming together with their powers fully activated. I went, this looks fucking stupid. I thought like the big moment of all of them getting together, like, yeah. I was like, what the fuck is this? This, like, because I think everything else in here, like the acting, the writing, like the character interactions, all the drama, I think that is high quality stuff that we're getting in here. And then, like, whenever the superpower stuff comes in here, it feels like the kind of stuff you got back in, like, I don't know, the 90s when they were trying to do, like, superhero TV shows. And like, oh, no, we're not there anymore. We're just going to take whatever you give us. I thought it really stunk, honestly. Like, and you're looking at me like you want to strangle my ass.
No, like, I do kind of feel that way, but it's like, I really did enjoy the Runaways so much, and like, I just hope that they even though they dropped the ball a bit, I hope they pick it up for the second season. And I sort of feel like maybe it has to do with the budget. Partly
that, which there's moments you can tell, which by the way, I will applaud them because the what do you call it? The product placement they did with Lyft in here, I was like, that's actually probably the best product placement I've ever seen. Because even though they had to mention Lyft every single episode, or have someone show up in a Lyft car at every single episode, that's believable. That's understandable. Mm-hmm. I mean, I use the word Uber almost once a week. So yeah, it's like, all right, that's understandable. Absolutely. So yeah, I had no problem with that. And you could tell that that was going into the budget on this, into like a lot of the special effects on here. But yeah, it felt like they still didn't have enough. And I feel like a great example of what I am complaining about in this show is Old Lace.
Yes, they didn't do a lot with her, and what they did do was...
They did nothing with her except have her pop up. And here's the thing. I had been dreading when Old Lace would eventually pop up because I was like, no way are you going to have the budget to have a dinosaur roaming around this entire time. Then the dinosaur popped up and I went, oh, that was clearly a puppet, but that was a damn good puppet.
Yeah, it's like...
The animatronic that they had for Old Lace, that was freaking amazing.
Yeah, it's like they have the animatronic for like the head, and then they use CGI for like the full body.
And I even thought the CGI looked pretty darn good. I mean, it didn't look like movie quality, but it's not like, going to.
It's really good TV quality.
It's really good TV quality. And Old Lace in 10 episodes didn't do a goddamn thing. There was a moment in the final episode when they're all squaring off to fight against their parents, and then Old Lace comes running in and it's like, oh, what's Old Lace gonna do? And then Gert's dad goes, I'll take care of it. Tunk.
Yeah.
I went, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And then later in that, they're like pushing Old Lace around, and they're like, they fully run away. They are now officially the Runaways. Yes. They're away from their parents. I was like, great, perfect origin story. And they're pushing Old Lace around in like a shopping cart, and like you just saw like the little animatronic head popping out, like, I was like, all right, that's good, that's a good way of doing it. And then, sorry if you can hear our own Old Lace in the background. but then there came a moment and they're like, well, we gotta figure out what to do about Old Lace. Sorry, girl, you gotta go. Bye, Old Lace. Bye. I was like, are we supposed to be having the dramatic say goodbye moment when she hasn't done anything on this team yet?
Yeah, it's like...
And then half an hour later in the same episode, Gert is waiting outside the bus station, and then she goes, wait, what's that over there? And then she walks around the corner. Oh, Lace, you're back! Oh, hey everyone, my dinosaur's back. What? It's the end of the season? Let's run off into the...
Yes, like, the slow motion run away with the dinosaur with them. And it's like...
What the fuck was the point of saying goodbye to Old Lace? Except that it was just simply because they went, we don't have the budget to film another half hour of this. And I was like, that's fine. Have her be in the shopping cart the entire time. Have her just poke her head out behind like a bush or something that two people are sitting on. I was like, you have the animatronic. The animatronic doesn't continuously cost as much money as like special effects do. The animatronic's there. You have it. I'm fine just having the head fucking pop out from behind a tree. That's all you need. It's like, God, this was really like, it was almost insulting what they did with Old Lace in here.
Yes, please, please, please have a bigger budget for second season. Please, 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 please have Old Lace have a bigger role, please.
Go over to Uber and go, listen, Lyft was good to us in the first season, but we're gonna get into a bidding war with you guys. I'm going to take that squeak toy away from our dog. I'll be right back. All right, so Old Lace I thought was a big disappointment, but then I also feel like every time that they had to introduce like the superpowers in here, it kind of like became my problem with Old Lace. Because in the last episode, they never named Old Lace until the last episode. And the last episode, Gert was just looking through a newspaper and had an advertisement for arsenic and Old Lace. And he goes, the Old Lace to my arsenic. And I was like, no, you haven't established that like this is something that like Gert is like a fan of, like old movies like this kind of stuff. You haven't even established like your target audience for this has no idea what that film even is.
Like I thought she was supposed to be like some sort of like maybe a hipster. Is that what they were trying to do? But
she is, but it's like, man, you haven't established like a love of old films or anything with her.
Not really.
Yeah, so man, it was really kind of upsetting that it was just kind of like, well, we have to name it Old Lace, so they just shoved it in there. Same thing goes for Chase's Fistigons. Man, he is just building like superpowered fist for no fucking reason in here. And then when and like this has been a pretty serious drama up until this point. And when the dad goes, what are you calling? I go, Fistigons. And I was like, that sounds really stupid in the context of this show. In the comic, they were flat out supervillains, the Pride. And because they were flat out supervillains, you're more willing to buy some crazy goofy stuff like this. In here, I dig what they did with the Pride. Making them far more human, making them not like actual supervillains, but more just like, you know, really messed up adults. But then when you bring in something like the Fistigons, it's like, oh, come on, man.
Like, I don't know, I felt like he was like channeling his like, you know, inner kid. It's like, we're gonna call these the Fistigons. Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, but I didn't get that sense from Chase in this show. That was another thing. Chase is very different in the show than he is in the comic. In this, he is like straight A student, like the pride of the school, no pun intended. He is like the big man on campus. In the comics, he is like the dumbass rebel. Like, he is the guy who tells his dad, go fuck yourself, I won't know your life, old man. And then his dad beats the shit out of him, so that they kept in this show. But yeah, it is completely different, like, who he is in this, aside from just being the pretty boy. That's really the only thing they kept. So, again, in the comics, because he's such, like, a jockey dumbass, I'm kind of like, yeah, I can buy him, like, using something called Fistigons. And here, I was like, I do not buy this for a second.
I don't know, there's quite a few, like, scientists and nerds out there who, like, name their inventions, like, weird, silly shit.
I guess, alright. But, I mean, again, it's just kind of like, it's the fact that he's just building super-powered gauntlets for no fucking reason. And I know someone's going to say, well, it's because he knew he would have to fight his parents. It's like, it was way too early in the season for them to be like, this was like episode 4. At that point, they were not at that point where it's like, we're going to have to square off with our parents. Like, no, they were just like, we gotta get that thing from the show in here. Also, speaking of the budget, Old Lace I thought looked pretty damn good. I think Carolina looked awful every single time she powered up. I really think that looked lame. Which I know that's a hard thing to do, like you turn into a rainbow every time that you take your bracelet off. But yeah, it was really frustrating to me, honestly. Speaking of Carolina, what the hell is up with her dad? And I don't mean her biological dad, the guy who was in the tube, the weird immortal guy.
You mean his stepdad?
No, well, I mean, she thought it was her dad the entire time. Like, he's the guy who raised her, so that's her dad. But he has healing powers? When did that, like, did I miss something in here?
Like, didn't, like, the guy in the tube give him the ability to heal?
Did he? Because I remember him just like popping up in one scene and just going here, and like I don't think he had not met the biological dad at that point, had he? I thought he showed it off before he met him. Man, this is why we do need to record these not a month after we finish watching it. But yeah, it was just such a weird thing that's like, oh, now I have healing powers, and it's like, oh, so are you an alien as well? I'm guessing they're keeping that Carolina is an alien in here. But it's like, okay, so is the stepdad?
I thought he just like gave him like temporary powers.
Maybe, I guess. I don't know. It's just such an odd thing to bring up in there. But speaking of powers, I do dig what they did with the Pride in here, of having them be not supervillains, but just screwed up adults. And it made it a big soap opera, and I really dug all the soap opera-y bits of that. However, it does really feel like someone was sitting there going, you guys are aware this has to turn into a comic book thing at some point, and this has to be a superhero story at some point. So when it gets to that point there at the end, where all the parents had to fight the kids, I was just looking at it like, literally only one of the parents has powers. All the kids have powers except for Alex. Like, it's the exact opposite situation. So I was just looking at this like, how is this supposed to be like an epic showdown of the parents fighting the kids? The only parent who has any powers is Nico's mom. Her dad doesn't even have powers. But like, Gert's parents aren't time travelers. They're just genetic engineers, and they didn't have anything with them at all. So it was just two yuppies there, and like, all right. And Alex's parents never had powers in the comics, so that one remains the same. But what's her face? Molly's parents are dead in this, so that, you know, they're a no issue. Who am I forgetting? Chase's parents, yeah, they were super sci-fi, like, mad scientists in the comics. Here, the dad was a mad scientist, and he's dead at this point, so he's gone. So it's just the mom there who doesn't have these abilities, and it's like, alright, you really just have, like, a bunch of superpowered kids about to beat the shit out of their parents. This is, like, I feel no tension in this moment at all. Like, I don't even know if Carolina's mom is, like, has powers either.
Yeah, we don't...
Yeah, that never comes up. It was so weird to me, man. That, like, it feels like this just would have been an amazing show if they had just gone, forget this has anything to do with superheroes. Like, have the powers come up and that's fine. But you don't have to do, like, a big fight scene, don't have to do anything like that. Cause yeah, anytime that this show was like, we need to be a superhero show, I was like, stop that, stop, no, you're a teen drama and an adult soap opera rolled into one. That's what you are. Stop this fucking superhero crap. That's not what this show is. Like, you don't have the ability to do that, and the people making it don't have the knowledge of how to do that.
Do you think they'll like get like a new crew who actually knows how to like do a superhero TV series?
No,
I haven't
heard anything about that. I haven't heard anything about like people being replaced or like new showrunners.
Yeah.
Because that's what you would need is a new showrunner.
Yeah, because the actors are good. They don't need to be replaced.
Yeah, dude. Again, I'm complaining about a lot of stuff because we did nothing but praise the first 3 episodes when we did the post Geekout reaction of that. So I have to come in here and basically go, yeah, here's all the stuff that I kind of don't like about this now. Although I will say there was one actor in here who I actually do not like. It's Molly, and I hate saying that.
Yeah, it's like she's definitely not the same Molly as in the comics. But...
They aged her up, which is one thing because they had to like get her into high school, and I was like, the thing about Molly is that she's so goofy because she's such a little kid, and the moment that you age that up, it's like, okay, well, she's not going to be that same character, except that they still tried to make her goofy, and the problem then is, now I'm looking at a high schooler acting like a little kid, and it's weird, but the actress was kind of capable of pulling that off. It was just like, okay, this shouldn't be like, I mean, there's like moments in like the first couple episodes where she's like dancing like, you know, like crunk style, and I was just looking at that like, Molly, what happened to you? That's not how a little kid should act. But it's like, no, it's not a little kid, it's a high schooler. And then she would act like a little kid in the next scene. I was like, no. The tones that you're going for with Molly are all over the place. But I thought the actress could actually pull off like the little kid thing. The problem is when it got dramatic with her and she had to get like rebellious against her parents, I thought it was unpleasant. I'll say that. I don't want badmouth kid actors because, you know, hey, they still have time to grow and change. They still have time to learn. But I mean, like the scene where she's like telling her mom, "Bite me, Stacy," and I was like, ew, that line read was awful. Every single time in which she tried to get like really dramatic, I thought you were not hired to do that.
Like she's good at being goofy, basically, what you're saying.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Goofy little kid, like classic Molly.
Classic Molly, yes.
She's good at classic Molly.
That's the weird thing about Molly. Like, in the comics, even when Molly's parents die, she's not even really that upset about it. Like, they skip, like, months, like, after that happens in the comics, they skip ahead by months. So you never even see Molly go through, like, the, oh shit, this happened to our family, this stinks kind of stage. When it picks back up, it's like, okay, we're back together and we're all happy. Yay! It's like, although most recently in the comics, the comics did recently finally come back after years of being gone, and the Runaways have kind of sucked every time that tried to come back without the original writer on board. This is the first time the comics have actually been great again, and it, like, you can go right from when the original writer left straight into this and skip everything in between, and it feels like it's picking up exactly afterwards. And they're actually doing some things even better than the original writer, because, yeah, you actually do see, like, Molly getting pretty emotional in the most recent storyline, and it was actually great. But that's beside the point. But yeah, you can tell when they hired this actress, they had her read all the, like, act like a little kid lines, and when the emotional stuff came in, it's like, oh, you didn't test that out. That's, she's not that good at it. And I hate saying that. I really do. But okay, so, but yeah, the actors are all really good, and I dig what they do with the Pride. I dig all the, like, romance stuff that they have going on in here. Like, I thought the relationship between Gert and Chase was handled pretty darn well in here. Although there was that one moment in, like, the next to last episode in which they're trying to defuse the giant drilling machine, and then Gert's like, so are we not going to talk about what happened? And I was like, fucking time, really? Now? But that was, like, really the only problem I had with their relationship in this. I thought that was handled pretty well. I did have some problems with the Nico-Carolina relationship, because I don't think they covered it. Like, I feel like they focused on Gert and Chase a lot, and then Nico and Carolina, they just vaguely hinted at, like, twice.
Yeah, it's
and
like,
then they hooked up, and I was like,
I mean, it was obvious, like, from Carolina felt like she was obligated to, like, be with Chase, but, like, deep down we got the hint that she was not into guys.
yeah, yeah, that was.
But
that was
not really with Nico. I didn't really feel that with Nico that much.
That's the thing. The only time we really get that is there's a moment in which Gert flat out stops and says, yeah, you're into Nico. We all know you are. And, like, in the first episode, there's a scene in the bathroom where you can kind of tell she's kind of checking her out. And it's like, that was it. In the first episode, to get that moment of her kind of checking her out. Then, like, later on, Gert flat out stops and goes, you're into Nico. And I was like, yeah, we could have, like, developed this a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with them hooking up. It's just more like, lay the groundwork on this one. Like, Chase and Gert, you laid that groundwork. I also really dig all the stuff that they did with Nico's sister, because that's something that's not in the comics at all.
So I really like that. I find it very interesting that they did not follow the comics, but at the same time, I understand why they didn't follow the comics.
Yeah.
But lots of copyright issues and stuff are like...
Oh, no, not that at all. No, well, I mean, aside from the mutant thing.
Yeah, but...
That's the problem. But, man, I feel so bad, because I just mentioned the Runaways finally came back in the comics, and Molly was a mutant in the comics. They just came in and said, Molly is not a mutant. She is actually a science experiment that her grandmother created to give her powers. And man, I like that. I was like, I know you did this so that you could have her not be a mutant and not have to worry about that. But you had this happen literally right after the Fox deal went down.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that was just really bad timing.
If the Runaways came back 1 year later or even 6 months later, you wouldn't have had to have worried about this at all, man. But I give them... No, they've actually done that with a couple of characters in which they came in with, yeah, they're not actually mutants. It's okay. Like Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are no longer mutants and they're no longer Magneto's kids. It's like, man, for real. Although I have the unpopular opinion that I'm actually okay with them not being Magneto's kids, because Magneto's origin story is fixed at World War II.
Yeah.
And every other character's timeline keeps moving forward, but he has to remain there.
It's like, they'd be like his grandchildren, like great-grandchildren.
If they wanted to say grandkids, that I'd be okay with. That I'm fine with. But it's like, dude, no, now at this point, you're telling me that Magneto had them when he was 60. Not happening. So they did that with them, but with Molly, I'm actually okay with it, because they actually bring up something really interesting that I was like, oh yeah, why is that? In which they say, isn't it weird that both your parents had the exact same mutant power? And Molly's like, yeah, I kind of guess it is. And then it's revealed, yeah, it's because her grandmother is a crazy scientist who created her parents and then created her. It's like, okay, there was that question of why did they both have the same mutant power. But that's, again, in with the comics. Back to the show.
Yes, in the show, she got her mutant powers from being exposed to space rocks, I think.
Kind of, yeah.
And I think that's the same
There's
kind of...
still a lot that we don't know about.
Yeah, and, like, apparently, like, they're drilling something, and I think the space rocks are, like, in the ground or something like that.
That's kind of feeling I get.
Yeah, like basically like an asteroid like smashed into the Earth, and it has like a great deal of power in it, I think.
You get the sense that like it's somehow tied to like Carolina's alien race.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the weird religion that Carolina's mom ended up creating. And Carolina's grandfather, which we kept thinking was that dude in the tube. But then when it got to that scene where Carolina's mom started like having sex with him, I was like, nope, definitely not the granddad.
Nope.
At least I hope not.
That would be a weird.
Yep. So it does kind of also raise the question of, yeah, you keep setting up the grandpa. It would be weird if that didn't come back at some point in time. Like have him be like the big bad of season 2 or something. So yeah, it feels like that has to be tied into that.
Yeah.
But it is really kind of odd how many things in season 1 do not like get any kind of answers at all.
Because you know they're setting it up for the next season.
For the next season. But there's a lot that doesn't get answered here. It's like, man, you guys were really relying on that second season.
Yeah, they were. I know, like a lot of TV shows do that. They do rely a lot on setting up season 1 so they can like further expand the plot in season 2 and everything. And you know, it's like you always say like the first season is usually not that good and it usually gets better afterwards.
That's how stuff typically goes down.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that that happens with the Runaways, especially with you, since you seem to not really like the first season after the first...
I'm 50-50 on, because like I said, all the human drama stuff I think is fucking awesome in here. I think it's nailing it. It's just every single time there's like, and now it's a superhero show, it's like, no, go back to the other thing, you can't do this, no. Excuse me. But yeah, let's see, we've been mostly talking about the kids in here. The Pride, when we talked about the first 3 episodes, I said I found that to be fantastic. That it was this big, like, soap opera. But again, every time that it had turned to, like, a superhero thing, like, the moment that the immortal dude pops up in there, and he goes up to Chase's dad, who's dying of a brain tumor, and just goes, here, inject him with this. I'm magically healed, and I love everyone now. I was like, well... this got really stupid really quick. And then Gert's parents, which Gert's parents are the best parents in the whole show. When Gert's parents are experimenting on like the little like little sample of it that they got, and then he's like, oh man, I felt great right after it, and now I feel terrible and grumpy. Man, if this is how bad I feel after one drop, how bad must Chase's dad feel? And then you see him like murdering some guy or like, you know, threatening to kill him. And then he goes and starts beating the crap out of Chase. And I was like, you had already established that this dude was mentally not stable. Words are failing me right now. You had already set up that this guy was mentally imbalanced, that this guy had huge rage issues, and that he had already beat the shit out of Chase multiple times. You already had the groundwork for like some really complex like father-son stuff to come up down the road. You didn't need the magic like heal me vial to come in here to push him over the edge and make him go too far with Chase. Just watching this screwed up guy who had been this way his entire life just go too far would have been far more fascinating to me. Especially because it ends with Chase's mom coming in and having to shoot him to save her son. And it's like, holy cow, this is huge. Would have been huger if I wasn't sitting here going, and it's all thanks to that magical cure vial that he got that turned him into an even worse asshole than he already was. Like, God, just seeing like him, and also like the brain damage actually doing things like making him hallucinate, making him like act out even more. Like, I found that to be like really fascinating. I wanted to see where that went, and nope, they just came in and cured that thing halfway through. It was like, oh my God, for real? Just gonna drop that plot line right now? Well, we'll see what happens with this weird like addiction to this miracle cure is going to go. Nope, goes nowhere because it instantly has negative effects and causes his wife to shoot him. But then in the next episode, when they're trying to figure out what to do with the body before the immortal dude ends up discovering it, it's like, this is good. This is what I like. them trying to figure out what to do with this body here. Yeah, because it's nothing but human drama. It's all their dirty little secrets all coming out in this room as they're trying to figure out what to do before the even worse evil guy comes here. That's fantastic. I loved all that. And then the kids in the other room and they have no idea what's going on. They're trying to figure out what to do about this. I love that. I thought that whole episode was great until the moment the fucking immortal dude shows back up in there. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. But I mean, actually, no, that's not true. When the immortal dude showed up in that episode, it was actually pretty cool too because he then said, listen, we can just use that pod that resurrects me to resurrect him. But someone's gotta be sacrificed. And out of all of you, his wife is the one who isn't important to me at all, but she was in a relationship, in a secret relationship with Nico's dad. And I was like, oh shoot, now all that stuff is coming back out to light. So yeah, that was one of the best episodes of the entire season in my opinion, because it was just all human drama. And yeah, the human drama was kind of escalated and kind of like, it all came to a head because of this weird sci-fi stuff, because of the superhero stuff. So I feel like that episode was the best example of how to do all the human drama stuff in combination, all the human drama and all the soap opera stuff, I should say, in combination with the superhero stuff. So it can be done, but yeah, man, like when it comes to that moment in which I'm watching like a gangster thug guy just get his ass kicked by like 5 kids who don't know how to act like they have superpowers, with a director shooting it when they don't know how to direct people with superpowers. Like, yeah, this looks lame. This looks really lame, and it's taken all the entertainment I had out of this scene. So yeah, I still, like, I'm 50-50 on it. There's stuff in here I love, and when I loved it, I thought it was fantastic. But when I hated it, I thought it was a flop. And it was back and forth on it constantly for me. So yeah, I do want to see where season 2 goes, because a lot of these Marvel shows do get better with season 2. Like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. started off really bland and bad, and now, like, granted, I have not seen this season, but people keep telling me that it just continues to get better and better and better, so, hey man, yeah, I hold out hope that next season they're going to be able to go, okay, here's the stuff that worked, here's the stuff that didn't work, because this was all a big experiment for them. So I am very fascinated to see what's going to happen next season when they've gotten the notes back, when they've seen people's reactions to this. And also, in all honesty, my standards for, like, superhero entertainment is way higher than most people. I know a lot of people out there might go, well, yeah, but, like, you're a comic book geek. Shouldn't your standards be lower? Because 90% of comic book geeks out there look at really terrible trash, but it's like, but that guy was in a costume, so it's okay, right? I'm not, man, I hate to sound like the most arrogant, dickish dude out there, but I'm not like that. Like, so many people out there tell me things like, yeah, Legends of Tomorrow is a great show. No, it's not. That show is fucking trash. But it's got people in costumes jumping around, so I understand why most comic book fans like it. I don't. I look at that stuff and it's like, this is just stupid. So I understand. I'm looking at this differently than a lot of other comic book fans. I know a lot of other comic book fans are going to look at this and be like, oh, dude, when Molly was lifting that truck.
Like, it feels like you're looking at this more like a movie critic as opposed to like a comic fan.
I'll take that, sure. Yeah, neither one of those two scenarios are good. Both of them are snobbish dickholes, but yeah, I am kind of looking at this more like, all right, I'm just judging this on quality. I don't give a shit if people have superpowers. And the stuff that I think is quality in here is the not people with superpower stuff. So yeah. Yeah, that's how I look. Man, this is an amazing CW show, because it does all the stuff that the CW shows attempt to do, like the teenage drama stuff. It does that perfectly. But it's still a CW superhero show, because then it goes into really lame-ass superheroics. And that's my problem with this. You? Sorry that I've been hogging this, but yeah.
No, it's fine. It's like, you obviously have like more to say about this than I do. I mean, I enjoyed it. I guess my standards are not as high as yours, like, because I don't really watch too many superhero shows.
Well, that's the thing. It's not like I'm pointing at any of them and going, well, these are the good ones. There really aren't many good superhero TV shows out there. Jessica Jones and Daredevil. That's all I got. And the first half of Luke Cage. But yeah, man, it's not like I'm pointing at other things like, it should be more like The Flash. Man, The Flash was a saltine cracker when I was starving out there. It's not really a good show, but it was the best we had at the moment. This is about what The Flash was. I really feel like it's like, yeah, no, it's doing some stuff. No, actually, it's better than The Flash. I'll give it that. It's... Man, yeah, because I'm trying to compare it as like, yeah, but The Flash has been good for like individual episodes. Okay, half of individual episodes scattered across entire seasons. I think there was more good in these 10 episodes than in 26 episodes of The Flash, and that's probably the best superhero TV show out there right now. So, at least on, like, cable, at least on, like, easy access. If you go to Netflix, then yeah, the standards go up. But I wasn't judging this like a Netflix show, really. I was just kind of judging it like television, and yeah, that's kind of just how I feel about it. It's like, man, I'm just frustrated with it because I do love the stuff that's good in here. I think they nailed so much in here. Just, this doesn't have to be a superhero show. I mean, these are people who don't even have, they don't have costumes. They don't have a rogues gallery of villains aside from just the Pride itself. But even then, like, I do feel like there's so many things that they set up that without answering any, that it started to fall into, like, lost territory for me. And which is like, all right, dude, pump the brakes a little bit. Like, you're introducing a time machine now that lets you see into the future so you can see the destruction of all LA. Now you got the big, like, rock in the middle of the earth and you're digging a hole down into it. And there's so many other things that you're setting up as like, yeah, I don't know what any of this stuff is about. You're just mentioning big ideas to me. And I'll let you do that because I know you're going to plan on explaining them later. But you got to give me one of them. You can't set, like, all these things up and then not give me the answers to any of them until the next season. You can set all these things up. Give me the answer to one. Just to let me go, oh, I get an idea. Okay, I'll see where the rest of this goes. I feel like it teased too much. Was another thing to it. But yeah, I still think the actors are great in here. I love all the drama that's going on in here with both the Runaways and the Pride. That's an amazing thing about this. It made me actually care about the Pride. Whereas before they were just the most cookie cutter, like we're just here to be villains that they fight. Yeah. There's so much. This was an amazing show. It's just not a good superhero show. And I don't want a good superhero show. I just want a good show. And this kept taking my good show and interrupting it for a really bad superhero show. That's what I feel like. Yes, you're eating fluff. Yes, get that fluff out your mouth. Get that fluff out your mouth. There we go. Hey, everybody. It's me, Peach. I liked it. I give it 2 paws up. I give it 2 finger nums. Num, num, num. Oh, you're not biting my finger now. Good.
The one time you want her to bite your finger and she doesn't.
It's like clockwork. She always does it. All right. But yeah, anything else you want to say about this?
Looking forward to the 2nd season.
Yes. Maybe we'll get more old lace.
Yes. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.